Hi everyone, it's Bobby. I am here to share with you my first of the Country Craft Creations new paper lines. This one is called Country Bunnies. It is the cutest paper. I tell you this, to me this paper is timeless. You could use it for so many different things. Even babies, not just Easter, anniversaries, all kinds of celebrations. It is just precious paper. Now on the front I have done a lot of fussy cutting from the papers. There are no stickers with this, but for me you really don't need them, because if you remember, if you're in my age category at all, or even close to it, you remember paper dolls. And we used to cut out paper dolls like crazy when I was a kid. Got some hot glue there. And that's what the fussy cutting reminds me of. So I did cut out a bunch of the individual little pieces. There were several pages that had a lot of items that you could cut out, and I backed most of them on the Artisan gray, which is what I wrapped my cover with. And then I cut out the little bunny down here and made a pocket out of him, and I just have two little photomats in here. I used a door plate that I had in my stash, and a couple of butterflies that I had also. And then on the spine I just cut out 3 of the butterflies, and I backed them on I think this color is called chamois. It is from the My Colors collection, and then the Artisan gray. And on the back I just kind of mimicked the front. I did put an eyelet here, and I used the elastic cording, and there's enough room in here so that once you fill it up you've still got plenty of room in your cording, that it's not going to be overstretched. So when you open the album, in the front page, inside the cover, you have an acetate flap so that you can see all your pretty papers. And I just filled it up with a lot of photomats, and I just put photomats on one side so that you can journal, either journal on these and put your photos back here, or however they want to do it. This one has 4 of the smaller, and then this one has 3. Really easy to do. So just in that one pocket alone there's 10 photomats, but it could easily be doubled if you did it on both sides. That slides back into that little tuck spot. Then on page 1, and I only have 3 pages in here, but once you've used both sides, then that actually gives you 6, and they are pocket pages, and I don't have anything in the pockets yet, so there's room for more photos and journaling. So on this page I just put some of the design paper down at the bottom. This yellow polka dot is from the My Colors, and I have a little tuck spot here with just a photomat. And I had, this is actually what is it called, parchment paper, just as a backing. I thought it looked really pretty. And here's another fussy cut piece that I got from the collection. On the back side of that page I made a little pocket, and I used the bunny, and then I put 3 photomats in the pocket, and that's just a graphic 45 die. It came with the what is it, the little file folder die. That was part of that. And I did use the file folder in one place in here. So that glue leaves strings everywhere. And then here's another big fussy cut piece. This is several little small pieces, and I just collaged them together to fill it up like I wanted it. So there's those 3. Then on page 2 we have an envelope, and I cut this out, and I have a magnet in here. And it opens like this, and the other magnet is behind the envelope. And here we have more photomats. Aren't those pretty? Colors are just gorgeous in this. So that just holds it together. Now I put a piece of parchment paper between these two because of all the fussy cutting, it tends to want to get caught on each other. So that's just a protective barrier. Then on this one, I made little photo corners with my punch. And it's just an old Martha Stewart punch that I had in my stash. Excuse me. And on this one, I put a piece of the mylar on the front so you can just stick your photo behind it. So that takes care of that page. This one was real easy to do. Just a simple belly band. And then I cut this out and I double matted it on the green and the yellow. On the third and final page, I have a magnet behind this butterfly and just 2 photomats. This one has the little duck on it, and this one just a strip of the design paper with 3 little stars that I punched out. And then this butterfly is actually printed on the paper, and I cut him out a second time from another sheet and attached him just in the center. And then I've used the hat up here again. It should stick up under there. There we go. Tucking under the hat. And the butterfly will hold him down. On the back side of the last page, we have that file folder that I told you about. It opens out like this. I have 2 photomats at the bottom. A larger one at the top. I added the little bunny rabbit. Another photomat with a cut apart, well, not cut apart, a fussy cut, and a butterfly I cut out. And then I left this open back here so that you could put more photomats in it. And you probably could get 1 or 2 more in there. And on the inside of the back cover is the same as the front. Oh, extra piece of mylar there. It opens out. These photomats are so pretty. There's that one. And this one I overlapped onto the photomat, but I just attached the leaves with some repositionable adhesive so that you can lift them up and put your photo behind them. And then on this one we have 3 photomats, and I punched out a butterfly from the mylar and put it over the top. So that is my project. I really, really like this paper, and it was so much fun to work with because it's so different. It's just beautiful. So I'm sure many of you already have your country bunnies by now and are as happy with it as I was, or am. So I'm going to close this back up. Where did I put my... I don't know. Oh, here it is. You can see the butterflies and things. They kind of want to catch on each other. I don't want them to get damaged, so I put this in there just to protect it. So whoever ends up with this will get an intact album. So, whoops. There you go. And this just hooks around the clasp. That's my project. I hope you love it. I sure do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Alright, this morning I am building my cover for the Country Bunny album. And I have 2 pieces of chipboard that are 8.5 by 6.5. And I have attached the design paper to the front and the back. And I took a piece of the My Colors in the aqua tint color, and I cut them the same length of my paper, 1 1/4 inch wide, and then I scored it down both long ends at 3/8. And I'm going to put that just over the edge with some glue, just like I did the front. And I just used the art glitter glue to seal these little bands down. And I'm just going to lay it over the edge of that white design paper. Keep it as straight as I can. And then I have a little piece of real pale yellow glimmer paper that I had in my stash. And I am going to use the 1/4 inch score tape on the back of it because the glue doesn't hold it really well by itself. So I'm going to attach that down the center of this glimmer paper. I just thought it added the necessary pizzazz that I needed for this. Just needed a little punch of color and a little bling maybe. Peel that backing off, and I'm just going to add a little glue to that score tape just to give me a little wiggle room so I can make sure I've got it straight. It's not always straight the very first time for some reason, and I'm going to overlap that just a little bit over the aqua tint and add it in. And that looks pretty good to me. Then I cut a piece, and these papers don't have names on them like some of the papers do. This is off the back side of one piece. The back sides are a little bit more muted, and I did go around it with this basic gray that I have in my stash. I have tons of ink colors. I prefer the Tim Holtz, but I didn't have a gray in it, so I resulted to a gray that I did have. I didn't want to use the black soot because I thought it was a little bit too harsh for this paper, because most of the colors are soft and a little bit more muted. So I'm going to put this on my spine. Right down the center. And then I cut 3 little squares, 1.5-inch squares of the Artisan gray. And I'm going to space those down the spine as evenly as I possibly can. Like I said, I'm not always the best at that. And then I have I think it's called chamois. I'm going to put that in the center of each one of the gray squares. I love the my colors. They are so pretty. And I'm just going to center that as best I can. And let me see, what's this about? Center. That looks pretty good. Might be a little bit off, but it'll be okay. Now, these little gray squares are 1.5 inches, and then the brown ones, the light brown chamois color, is 1.25 inches. And I've got a third one here somewhere, but oh, there it is, I think. Yeah, there it is. Things get away from me on this little table. And I'm going to put this one like this. I don't think my middle one's exactly in the middle, but I'm not going to try to peel it up. I don't want to tear up my paper. Oops, I didn't put my tan in it. And I'm going to put this one right here. Get my tan square. Put that right in the middle. cut out 3 butterflies, and I'm going to offset them just a little bit so they overhang on the gray. And I'm not going to use dimensionals or any kind of pop dots on these. There's yellow. We'll put the blue one in the middle. And we'll turn him this way. And then a pink one. I like to put something on the spine, but I don't like it to be too terribly bulky, if you know what I mean. And we're going to put that one right there. Make sure I get any glue that might ooze out. So that is our cover on the outside. Then on the inside I have added a 4-inch wide piece to cover the spine. And then I'm just going to go back in here and find my creases. And straighten that up. Oh, use my rounded edge. I don't want to use that sharp edge. And your score tape will catch in that crease there. Give you a really nice fold. Make sure everything's sealed down good. And there is our cover. And pretty. Then, let's open it back out. I have cut, what did I do with my little bunny? Off of one of the design papers. Let me find my bunny. There he is. I cut the bunny from the design paper, and I'm going to put him down here as a little tuck spot. I don't know what I'm going to do with the back, if I want to add anything to it or not, but I am going to cut out a few more leaves and greenery to kind of put over the top of him so he looks like he's sitting in the greenery. And then this will be a little tuck spot. Then I'm going to add this little closure. I had this in my stash, and I want to use it with some of the elastic cording. I've got some black elastic cording, and I'm going to use that for my closure. And there's 2 little holes here for brads to attach it, and I want to do that before I put anything on the inside, so that when the brads are in here I can cover them up with my paper. So that's where I'm at so far. And I feel a cough coming on, so I'm going to pause it right here. I need to cut out excuse me, I need to cut my pages, and then we'll build those together. Alright, I'll be back shortly. Okay, I have put one side of the cover together on the inside, and we'll do this side together. I just wanted to show you that I put the clasp on the front like I told you. I secured it with a couple of brads, and then it's underneath this pocket. This little flap just tucks in. This is just glued on 3 sides. This one is an open pocket, that way you can see all of your inserts and the beautiful paper. So we'll do the other side together. I have attached a eyelet here and some of this elastic cording. You can find it in any fabric store, and I have secured it on the inside with some score tape. And then we have a pocket that measures 9.5 by 2 3/4, and it's scored at a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. I've mitered the corners all the way around, and then on the top edge I've scored it at 1/4 and glued it down underneath so that you've got a nice rolled finish edge. So we're going to burnish these down, and I've just added strips of paper to this so that we have our decorative paper on it. And this will be our pocket with our tuck spot. And it will cover that mechanism that holds the cording in place. Now this blue is going to tuck up underneath it, like so. But the first thing we want to do is make sure it's not too wide. And it looks like it'll slip under there just fine. So what we want to do is take this little scrap, which is 1.5 by 3.5, and I have just used an old Martha Stewart punch. It is called Beaded Arcs, and I just punched the edge there, and this will be what fastens it down. I'm going to burnish that real quick and attach it to the clear sheet. It's hard to get the these acetate sheets to fold and lay down, so I thought doing it this way, I don't have to worry about the acetate. So this is going to attach, whoops, this way. I don't want to put it on that end. It's going to attach right here, about like so. So let's attach that down. And I'm just ballparking it, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to put some art glitter glue on there. And secure that in place. Now on the inside edge, I'm just going to put a little bit of the art glitter glue. Don't want it to ooze out on my acetate. Oh, and the acetate is cut at 3.5 by 6. We're going to put that right up under there. Don't want it to ooze out and blur up my acetate. Whoops, I got some on it. Darn it. Oh, I hate when I do that. I'll take a little Windex and clean it off here in a bit. I think that'll work. Okay, so let's put our pocket down. And I'm going to leave this backing on the score tape because I don't want the adhesive to stick to any inserts that I put on the inside. So we're going to attach this pocket right here. I'm going to put a couple of clips on it for a moment. This will slide up under, and that will be our pocket. Take this top one off and I'll put it back on in a minute. Looks like I might need to take just a hair off after all. Get my, take just a smidge off. It's not wanting to slide like I want it to. And for some reason it doesn't want to slide. And I'm making a mess. Here's my other. I'll take a pair of scissors and make sure I didn't get glue where I don't want it. Well, some are done. I don't know why this is being so ornery. I'm having a time here. Oh, I know what it is. It's that it's that cording. There we go. I just had to get it past the cording. I thought, what in the world? I know it's right. There we go. Now I'll clean that off with some Windex. I've got glue everywhere. And that will tuck into there. So that is our two covers, the inside of the front and the back. Okay? Now for your hinge, I have cut a piece that is, I think I cut it at 7 3/4. Yes, 7 3/4 by 4. And it is scored at every 1/2 inch. And we're just going to fan fold this back and forth like we always do. Next one, up and down and up and down. Watch your edges to make sure they're straight, they match up, because if they don't, your pages will be crooked when you put them together. They won't lay straight. Here's that one. Now there's only going to be 3 pages in this book, but there'll be plenty of room for photos and journaling your thoughts and memories about the photos that you had. Oh goodness. Never fails. Likes to make a lot of noise. There's there's that one. Okay. The first two get turned under. So we're going to add glue here. Oh, they did hear somebody. Huey likes to carry on when he doesn't hear anybody. Excuse me, try not to cough while I'm doing the video, but it's been a real trip here the last few weeks, getting rid of this cold. And then the one on this end will do the same. See that we've got a spacer here, and then we have another hinge in the center, so we're going to glue that one together. Fold that over. A little bit of glue there. Okay, so now we have 3 hinges. 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. And that will set down the center right here. And the pages are going to be 8 by 8. Alright, so I'll add that in off camera. Let me see, I've got a couple pages started here. Here's one page. This one, I've just done the front of 2 of the pages so far. This is the first one, and I have cut a piece of the green, I think it's called aqua tint, I believe. Let me see if I've still got the label on it. Yeah, aqua tint. This one is called aqua tint, and then I cut a strip of the design paper, and I just cut each of them real short because they're not going to show. And then I made an envelope to go here, and it's going to open like this to hold all your inserts. Now I put a magnet right in the center here. There's the magnet. This is going to go down here. Then the envelope will sit on there, and it will be glued down. But I'm going to leave it open at the top, so if anybody has... Actually, I don't need to leave it open. There's going to be so many inserts on the inside. But you can leave it open on the top if you want. I think I will glue it down. I'm going to attach this to some of the gray Artisan, and it has a magnet in it, and that will be the closure when you put it on there like that. That is one page. The second page I have laid out is I have the glacier blue in the background, like this. And then I have a strip of the yellow at the bottom. And I'm going to run this down the center of that. And you can leave it open at the top if you want to make it a tuck spot, that's fine. I'm going to add this little piece of the trim that I had left from cutting out the envelope. And this is going to be a photomat. And I just excuse me, can't get rid of it for some reason. This is just plain white cardstock, and you can use vellum if you have it. I didn't have any vellum, so I used parchment paper like you have in your kitchen, and I just glued it down to it. and it gives it a real nice backing, I think. Kind of sets it apart from the blue. And then I made a little photomat, which we can stick back behind there. So that's what I've created so far. I don't know if I want to do any hash marks around this or not. I'm thinking I might. I just feel like it needs something. But, you know, I'll think about that as I go along. But those are the first 2 pages I have laid out. You'll find the measurements for the page on your cut list. I don't give the measurements for the design paper because everybody doesn't like a small margin. Some people like a larger margin here, so you can cut it to suit yourself. But I wanted to give you the basic layout of what I've done, and if you want to follow that, that's fine. Alright, I will be back shortly. Okay, I have shared with you a couple of page layouts that I have planned. The first thing we need to do is to assemble our 3 pocket pages. So you have a piece that is 6 by 8, and this one is 9 by 8. You will put that in your scoreboard and score each of the short ends at 1/2, and you'll spin it around and score the other side at 1/2. Then we want to burnish these real good so we can attach our 2 pieces together. And we will do that with some art glitter glue. You can use score tape if you prefer. I just like the other, and I like to taper my edges just a little bit. You don't have to, but just for safety's sake, so I don't have any overhang, I like to do that. So I left a pin out of it, so it's probably dried at the top. Let's hope we can get some glue out here. There we go. And match up your corners and your top. And burnish that down. And you can go to the bottom and do the same thing. I went off the edge there a little bit. I did. Match up your corners, make sure your sides are straight. A little glue ooze here. It's going to be covered with design paper, so it doesn't matter, and it dries clear anyway, the art glitter glue. Okay, so that's your pocket page. This side will sit on the hinge. This side will be our insert. And I've got glue and ink everywhere. That's me, though. I can't craft without getting it all over me. Okay, so let's go back to the pages I had shared with you before. This is page number 1, because, and the reason I do it that way, I'll show you why I like it like that. I want page 1 to relate to this one, so that when I put it in, it looks like it belongs there. Then on the back side of page 1, I have cut some of the aqua tint again, which is going to go at the top. I cut a little pocket of the, gosh, I don't remember the name of this color, but it's one of the dots. It's either, let me see if I've got one left. No, that's the glimmer. I don't know the name of it, I can't remember. One of them was called chamois, and one of them was called sandpiper or something like that. I'm not sure which one this is, but it's the one with the dots on it. And I tore the edge and just put a little piece of the Artisan gray behind it just to pop it out from the green. And that's going to be the pocket down here at the bottom. Then I cut out this little bunny and he's going to sit on top of the pocket. And I cut out this greenery to put up here at the top, but I want it to look like it's sprayed in from the corner. So what I'm going to do first is position it like I want it, and I don't want to lose all my leaves. I'm going to do it about like that, and I'm just going to glue it right down. I don't need it to be a tuck spot or anything. And these are all just little pieces that I glued together and made a collage out of on a piece of white. And I just glued them all into place. And let me see. I don't want to get glue all over everything. I'm going to lose a little bit of that. One leaf, maybe a little bit, and I'll lose that one piece. Blot this down so I don't have any glue oozing out. And then I'll go from the back side and trim that extra off. Yes, this one is called Aqua Tint. I haven't cut the back off of that one yet. I won't have glue on my scissors, but that's okay. I can clean them off. It's kind of thick right there where I added several pieces together. There. Oops. That's where I glued two pieces together and that little edge is coming up. Let me put a little dot of glue back on there, where I added in an extra leaf. Okay. So that is going to go at the top. Peel this sticker off so because it's kind of glossy. I don't want it to keep it from sticking. Get rid of that. We're going to glue that down. Trying to make sure I don't have any glue all over my hands so I don't make a mess. Not to ruffle up on my edges there until that's good and dry. And then the pocket's going to sit right down here like that. And I trimmed those down. I first cut this so that it was just a flat tuck spot, and then I decided I wanted it to be more of a pocket, so I cut 3 1-inch strips and scored them in half. And then I just made myself some little strips for my pocket back here. I just glued them on and mitered them, and that'll make my pocket so that I can get more in it. Okay, so I'm going to set that down here at the bottom. bunny is going to go all but the top of his back. Well, I would move it up a little bit, about halfway up his back, about where that spot is where I got to stop my glue. So we'll go across here. So don't want to glue my pocket shut. Oops. Don't go up there. I want to get enough down here that all these little ends get glued down. All these little fussy cut areas. A lot of people don't like to fussy cut, but I don't mind it at all. It kind of reminds me of when I was a kid, my sisters and I used to cut out paper dolls. I like it. It doesn't seem tedious to me, but a lot of people don't like it, but you know, whatever. It works for me. Make sure these are all pressed down. And looks like I can put a little bit more behind him, I think. No, I'm up high enough. Okay, so that is the back side of page 1. And then we've got plenty of room in here for our inserts. I had shown you this page, and I did go back and attach some gray behind the magnet. I felt that these edges were trying to curl on me, and maybe just because of my humidity. But what I did was I cut some 1/4-inch strips of chipboard, and I just inked it in black and put it on the back just to support it, and that made it work just fine. So now I'm going to go to the back side of that page, and what I have laid out for that one is the, what is it called? Cafe au lait. And I'll take the sticker off. I'm going to put this one down. And this cafe au lait is going to cover the entire back. I love these papers, and I didn't want to completely obscure the paper. That's why I made places where we can have inserts and photomats and things, so you can pull those out and still see. Uh-oh. Let me trim just a hair off of that. It's just a little bit longer than I want. As soon as I started to glue it down, I thought, nah, I'm not liking that. It wasn't showing much gray at the bottom. I'm not getting it straight for some reason. I'm going to stick my big fat head in here. There we go. Make sure we've got that down good around the edges. We don't want anything popping up. Okay, and then I have cut from the yellow, again, 2 bands, and they're just going to attach at the top and the bottom. And then I cut 2 strips of design paper that are going to set over those. I wanted to pick up the browns, so I used this vine paper, and then I cut out a floral basket that was in one of the papers, and I backed it in the aqua tint and then the yellow, and it's going to sit down here as a stopper, and these will be your belly bands that you can store things under there, different photomats and what have you, and they won't fall out. It's just going to be glued here and on the 2 sides, and that will stop anything from falling through. So I'm going to glue those down, and then I'll be back and we'll make some more. Okay, for the page that will be opposite this brown and yellow, I'm going to use a piece of the design paper with brown on each side, just a 1/2 inch strip, and then I'm going to use that yellow glimmer paper like I used on the cover, just to bring the yellow over because I'm out of this yellow. So what I did was I'm going to put something behind this butterfly to give it more stability, but I have a magnet on the butterfly and one on the back side, so when I attach this down, the magnet will be in place, but I'll be able to use the butterfly as my place to catch my photomats. What did I do with my pen? I left the pen out again. Okay, so let's glue that down. And I'm just going to put it right down the center. Like so. Oops. Okay. Now I can take my butterfly off. And then I can smooth this out around the magnet. And I'll add the brown. And I'm just going to leave just a tiny edge of the gray showing. And then all we have left is the back side of this page, which will be blue because it will match up to the inside of the back cover. Now if your pieces don't completely match up like this, I've got a little gray gap there, don't worry about it because the yellow is going to cover it. Now I have to use 1/4 inch score tape. Oh, here it is. This glimmer paper is kind of slick on the back, and it doesn't stick with the glue very well. So that's why I'm using the score tape, and these yellow strips are just 3/8 of an inch. Tear. Normally a tear is pretty good. Here's that one. This one. Okay. Now we can peel this backing off and glue it down. That kind of ties these two pages together. Okay, that takes care of that. Now I'm going to put this on the gray Artisan, and I'm going to attach it up here, and then my yellow butterfly will be here, and I cut this one out and it fits right over that one so I can have a dimensional butterfly. So that's my game plan for this page, and then I will do these, get them on some gray Artisan and put those down, and then I'll come back and we'll do the back side of this page, and then we'll be ready for our inserts. Alright, excuse me, we are on the last page, and I have cut a little file folder out of the Graphic 45 with one of their dies, and I have a magnet inside here, and I'll show you that after I get it attached, and the opposite magnet is here so that it will be buried. And I'm going to attach this down to my base page. Alrighty. And we're going to put this fairly close to the edge, just giving a small margin. Just like that. Now that we've got that in place, we can take this off so that we can burnish it down really good. And I think this might need to be bent over just a hair at the bottom. Yes, just like that. Lift this up. Okay, there we go. Make sure it's straighter. And now I cut a little 1/4-inch piece of the glimmer paper. I don't have any of that yellow left, so I'm using the glimmer paper just to bring the yellow into play. Okay. I'm going to put that down here, just leaving a small gap. Alright, now I do want to ink around the edge of this with that gray. Actually, I have black soot. I picked up the wrong one. It's going to have to work though, because I would have got it cut out. Didn't mean to do that, but it'll be okay. Okay, and I'm going to glue these 3 sides so that I have an open pocket. Now I need to find my magnet, which is right here. There it goes. I'm going to put that into place and burnish it down. Now we can open this, and we have 3 photomats. I added, my magnet is under here. I have the butterfly and the little bunny, and that holds it closed. Now all I need to do is embellish. And I want this to be open for a tuck spot, and it is, so that'll work fine. Let me get my pin back in. So now we can add these pages to the album, and then I can continue embellishing. So let's bring the cover back in. Lay these pages over here. So this is your hinge side, and it will sit right over this hinge, just like that. And you just center it from top to bottom. You don't want to push it all the way into the bottom, because you want it to have room to lay down. Okay, so let's get some glue on that. These are still kind of stiff. So we want some glue on here. Not down to the bottom, up closer to the top. So let's set this over the hinge. Scoot it away from the edge just like 1/8 of an inch. And let's press that into place. Now we can do the same thing with the next page. Don't you run down there to the bottom. Okay. Page number 2. Oh goodness. Can't seem to hit my target. There we go. We'll put it into place, match it up with the previous page, and press it into place. And the first page. Okay. And that one goes right here. There we go. Match it up with the previous one. Press it into place. Now, we've got our embellishments to make, and we can cut some strips for this here. We've got lots of embellishments to make, but that is, oops, that is our cover in our album, and it will go like this. Isn't that pretty? I love these papers. So that is it so far. So we're coming right along. Alright, I'll be back shortly. I'm going to cut out some photomats and that type of thing, and then I'll be back with you. Alrighty guys, I am working on the front cover. I have attached 2 little ribbons and 2 butterflies that I had in my stash. This hot glue, I tell you, it leaves these stringers, drives me crazy. Anyway, I added the string, the ribbon, and the butterflies with the hot glue. And then I'm going to take this little hat that I cut out and I added it to some dark gray. And where's my scissors? I've got a little place here I'm not crazy about. I want to trim real quick. There we go. Had a little bit of a point there. And I'm going to add this up here. I have some of the pop dots on there that I got from Tammy. So let me get the backs off of those. And I have my photomats cut out for the inside, but I have not decorated them, but I'll show you what my plans are, and then I'll do that off camera, and you'll see that in the final walkthrough, which you'll see that before you actually see this tutorial. But this will be the end of the tutorial. Okay, so this is going to go up here at the top. It's got plenty of pop dots on it to keep it right where I want it. And then I'm going to add a little hot glue to a couple of these little pieces that I cut out. As soon as I get some hot glue on it, I want to tack it into place. I can do it without burning myself. And I want this one up under here, like, if I can get it up high enough. There. Let me stick it up under the butterfly. There we go. And then this little piece, I'm going to add over here. Like that. And then we have our little bunny rabbit, and I added a piece of cardstock to the bottom just to give it a little bit more depth so I could put some photomats in there, and I'm going to add glue to the bottom. And we're going to put him right down here. And I do want to put a little spot of glue under this little thing. So that'll kind of act as a stopper to keep things from falling out of the pocket. And a butterfly, excuse me, a butterfly on this side as a stopper. And I'm going to put him right here. There. And then we can put a couple little photomats. I think I'll trim this off a little bit shorter. Don't want it to take up too much room. Just something small to add a little interest and color to it. There. See how this one looks. I think I'll make him a little bit narrower. Behind. There, that works. That will be the front of the cover. Then what I did on the inside, I just cut plenty of photomats, and like I said, I haven't put the white cardstock on them or any of the design paper, but I have several in here, and you can get 2 or 3 photos on each one of these photomats. And then we already had this one here. Then in this one I have 4 different ones. In this pocket, in the envelope, I have a bunch. 1, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that folds up like that. And our little. And then under here I have 2 under the belly band. And here I have 2. And this little hat and the bunny, or the butterfly magnet is your point that holds it down. And then on this one I have 1 in this pocket and 2 behind. And I think I'm going to cut out some more little pieces to decorate up here, because I feel like this is kind of plain. I may put a butterfly in this little sprig of greenery, I'm not sure, but I want to add something up there. And then the back cover is the same as the front. Now this, you remember, opens out like this. And this probably can also go back here with the others. So that's it. That is the album. And when it is completely full, I'm not sure how many it'll hold. I'll have to count that out for you and let you know. I want to keep this flat while it dries. So that is the end of the tutorial. I will finish up the photomats, and I will come back and do the walkthrough of the finished project for you so that you can see it before the tutorial and decide for yourself if this is something you'd like to make. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye now.